Puffy is really like my brother. He is so protective of me, and I'm the same for him. He is the kindest, the loyal, generous. We always say each other, we love each other.
And from what you're hearing, Jason, do you think there's a lot more dominoes to fall here?
Absolutely. I mean, I'll put a name out there that you know was really close to Puffy, which has been ironically very silent, and I mean silent, is Naomi Campbell. Naomi Campbell is somebody that is connected to people all over the world, rich, powerful people.
It has to be just me and Naomi alone.
The backstabbing, the name-calling, the catfight on the catwalk.
You called me the B word. You said, you'll never be me.
Years of runway rivalry
I felt like you were terrorizing me.
explode in a dramatic confrontation.
So Naomi Campbell, the legendary supermodel, is under fire after a leaked list ties her to Diddy's infamous inner circle. And if there's anyone saying, "I told you so," it's Tyra Banks. See, she has been screaming about Naomi's shady behavior since the beginning, and it's about time people learned the truth about Diddy's so-called sister. In fact, with the truth making headlines, fans noticed a disturbing pattern with Naomi, like her rubbing shoulders with the devils of the industry, Kevin Spacey, Harvey Weinstein, and Jeffrey Epstein. It's like she's on a mission to collect the worst of the worst in the industry, like Pokemon. And so fans find themselves asking questions like, could Naomi's relationship with Diddy reveal more than just glamorous photo shoots and red carpet appearances? Is there truth behind the whispers of scandal, betrayal, and power plays? And was Tyra Banks right all along? Let's find out.
And I didn't understand that as a young girl. Like, why is she doing this? This is so evil. This is so awful. The adult me understands that she was reacting to an industry that was all about a token.
Before we get into the beef between these two women, let's get one thing straight. Both of them are powerhouses who changed the fashion industry for women of color everywhere. However, despite being in the same line of work, Tyra and Naomi don't exactly get along, and it all boils down to one simple fact. Tyra stepped in the industry after Naomi, and as you're soon going to find out, Campbell is all about protecting her flow of money. And so she made it her life's mission to make things hard for Tyra. But Banks wasn't about to let Naomi walk all over her.
Years in the making, supermodel Tyra Banks, supermodel Naomi Campbell, now on Tyra.
It has to be just me and Naomi alone.
Back in the day when Tyra invited Naomi over for an interview, Tyra made sure to let the world know exactly how Campbell works behind the scenes. Like the time she told Tyra she couldn't make it in the industry, and even got her kicked off from a set.
I was at home looking at her pictures, and now I'm in a fashion show with her. But Naomi, do you remember what you said to me?
That's
now, I want you
something awful and cruel.
Awful.
What did I say?
You said, I heard you talking about me.
Which I do. I hear everything from everywhere.
Yes, no, you said you heard me physically. You were right behind me. You heard me talking about you. You called me the B word, and you said, and we have a photo shoot to do in Anguilla, and it's not going to be pleasant if you're talking about me like that.
I probably did say that.
Why did you say that?
Because I probably just heard the tail end or just thought it must be negative, which it wasn't negative, so now it's something new. So I'm really sorry.
And guess what? Naomi's behavior had Tyra all kinds of terrified.
And Naomi, you got up, pushed me away, and said, yeah, I thought so, and you turned.
I did.
You went from the sweetest woman that was giving me vitamins to someone that terrified me on that trip.
Oh my God.
And
understandable, I can understand.
I was told on that trip that I was sent home because you didn't want me there anymore. So I didn't finish that trip. That's what I was told.
I don't have the power of Anna Wintour.
Now the two women talked at length about their differences, and eventually they hugged it all out.
Today is a beautiful day. Today I can rejoice because I have made peace with this woman right here. I have made peace with Naomi Campbell.
However, it doesn't seem like Tyra was over it, because she sat down for an interview with the Wall Street Journal recently, and she still had a lot to say about Naomi.
As much as I was booking every single fashion show, people didn't know I was going home at night crying my eyes out because the woman that I was looking up to seemed like she just didn't want me to be there and was doing everything in her power to make me go away. And I didn't understand that as a young girl. Like, why is she doing this? This is so evil. This is so awful.
And so it seems like Tyra and Naomi still have a lot to work through. But let's get the facts straight. Tyra speaking up exposed the kind of person Naomi was behind the scenes. She was a power-hungry supermodel who only cared about being at the top and had no problem tearing her sisters down. And when you put it like that, Naomi sounds an awful lot like Diddy. And it's funny fans drew that conclusion because Naomi kind of learned the trade from the man himself. So some of you might not remember, but Diddy and Naomi have quite the history. They made waves for the first time back in 2001 when they posed together for Vogue magazine. And like always, everyone thought they were dating, which was all kinds of scandalous since Naomi was engaged to Formula One racer Flavio Briatore back then. And get this, after making headlines with their magazine shoot, the two continued to hang out at various parties and events. According to some rumors, Diddy and Naomi orchestrated the entire thing, since Diddy had just been dumped by J-Lo, which in his eyes, kind of shot down his popularity. Here's what an insider said. After Jen's embarrassing kiss-off, Puffy got it in his head that people thought less of him as a man. He was ready to do just about anything to change his image as a loser in love. And Sean told Naomi that he desperately needed prestige on his arm to recover his ladies' man reputation. She promised to help by appearing in public with him. But she warned, "That's the only kind of boost you'll be getting from me." But Naomi denied all that. She made it clear in an interview with AOL back in 2020 that she and Diddy were more like siblings. "We've known each other for 20-something years, and he's been consistently the same. We really do have a brother-sister relationship, and I adore him." Like anyone believed that. But Naomi couldn't stop herself from singing Diddy's praises. She said, "He's very private, but people who know him know he's loyal. He's been loyal to me for so many years. And that's only the tip of the iceberg." Naomi also threw her best pal a big bash for his 53rd birthday at the Lavo restaurant in London. And just a week later, Cassie came out with her bombshell lawsuit. And, well, when that happened, Miss Campbell decided it was time to wipe the slate clean. She removed all pictures of herself with Diddy from her IG, but she forgot one important thing. The internet always remembers. Fans found pictures of Naomi posing next to Diddy and Cassie, and it seems like she was always with them. And if that's true, well, there's no way she didn't know about the mistreatment going on behind closed doors. Some internet detectives have been fixated on Naomi's relationship with Diddy ever since he got exposed. And here's what Fan had to say. "Everyone talks about Jennifer Lopez dating Sean Combs, better known as Diddy, the diddler. But nobody says anything about Naomi Campbell dating him. Naomi was also connected to Jeffrey Epstein and likes to hang out with Heidi Klum, who, as you remember, helped find models." Now, back in the day, when Naomi got grilled for her connection to Epstein, she denied the entire thing. There's just one problem with her statement. One of Epstein's victims stepped forward and called out Naomi in a tweet saying, "You saw me at your parties, you saw me in Epstein's homes, you saw me on the plane, you saw me get my hair cut, you saw me on the streets, you watched me bleeped, you saw me." And guess what? Court documents from depositions with several of Epstein's victims have revealed more than 170 names, and Naomi's name was on there as well. Of course, when fans read her name, Naomi couldn't exactly stay silent. She had to answer questions, especially when the Daily Mail published a scathing article dragging her name through the mud. According to the article, for all the glamour of her jet-setting social circle, she has also rubbed shoulders with another, altogether less wholesome crowd. A hair-raising cast of characters, in fact, with dubious and in some cases bloodthirsty reputations. They brought up her connections with Epstein and Gaston and Catherine Glock, gun-pushing billionaires. FYI, when jailed warlord Charles Taylor was put on trial for war crimes at The Hague in 2010, Campbell was summoned as a witness. Taylor was the blood-soaked former president of Liberia, and prosecutors wanted to know about a gift of diamonds that he gave Campbell at a charity gala held in aid of the Nelson Mandela Children's Foundation. So-called blood diamonds mattered because Taylor had used the trade in precious stones often mined in conflict zones to arm and equip a rebel army in Sierra Leone's vicious civil war. At first, Campbell refused to give evidence and only appeared when threatened with contempt of court proceedings. Well, even Harvey Weinstein was spotted at Campbell's 40th birthday party, Hotel du Cap Eden Rock. She also had no problem partying with Kevin Spacey. It almost seems like Naomi went out of her way to rub shoulders with the worst of the worst in the industry to guarantee her spot at the top. But she couldn't exactly have that kind of narrative unfolding about herself. And so she decided to say her piece. At first, she claimed that she had no personal connection with Epstein and was only introduced to him through the world of fashion in a YouTube video. In 2019, Campbell discussed her initial encounter with Epstein in 2001, saying, "Yes, I knew him. I was introduced to him on my 31st birthday by my ex-boyfriend, Flavio. He was always front and center at Victoria's Secret shows." And she also made it clear that even though she was photographed with the dude like a million times, she had no knowledge about what he was doing to those young girls. "What he's done is indefensible, And when I had heard what he had done, it sickened me to my stomach just like everybody else, because I've had my fair share of S-predators, and thank God I had people around me that protected me from this. Right now I stand with the victims. I find it extraordinary that of all the hundreds of thousands of people that I've stood next to take a picture at a public event, they've only chosen these few. She ended the video with a personal statement saying,
The frightening conclusion here is that if the negative action of your neighbor, colleague, or even an associate can somehow make you guilty too, simply by association, then we indeed live in very worrying times. This affects us all. It is wrong, it's unfair, and it must be stopped.
But it was a little hard to buy her words, since the court documents specifically mentioned that she boarded Epstein's notorious planes. Not to mention, one of Epstein's victims, Virginia Roberts, attended Campbell's lavish 31st birthday party aboard a yacht in Cannes in 2001. Coincidence? Fans think not. But that's not all. Fans also found out that back in the day, Naomi made it a point to hang out with ridiculously rich dudes who owned lavish properties, and in the light of her shady connections, it seems like she was living the life of a madam. Here's what one fan wrote. She was also dating billionaire art collector and real estate developer / Amman Resort CEO Vladislav Doronin at this time. If you're a suspected madam, it might be beneficial to date the guy who owns the luxury resorts. And he's friends with DiCaprio too? Now here's where things get really interesting. See, after Naomi's reputation got dragged through the mud, she tried to do some good by doing some charity work. But that backfired on her really bad. She was disqualified from acting as a trustee for the charity Fashion for Relief after the UK's Charity Commission found serious mismanagement. Apparently, the charity was spending tens of thousands of pounds on luxury hotel rooms, spa treatments, personal security, and cigarettes. All for Campbell. In fact, between 2016 and 2022, only 8.5% of the charity's expenditure went towards charitable grants. But like always, Naomi didn't admit to any wrongdoing. She made a statement saying, "First of all, I recognize that as the face of Fashion for Relief, I am ultimately responsible for its conduct. Unfortunately, I was not involved in the day-to-day operations of the organization, and I entrusted the legal and operational management to others. I want to assure everyone who has supported us that these findings are being taken very seriously. I have instructed new advisors to undertake a detailed investigation of what transpired." Naomi went on to insist that she has never been paid a fee for my participation in Fashion for Relief, nor billed any personal expenses to the organization. And I've dedicated nearly 30 years of my life to charitable initiatives, and I care deeply about the value and impact of the work I do. Typically, I align my charity work with paid assignments, which cover my travel and related expenses. In cases where this is not possible, either myself or personal friends have covered the expenses. In fact, in terms of the specific hotel expense mentioned in the report, the hotel has confirmed that all charges were settled by my personal travel agent, who in turn verified that they were reimbursed directly by a third party unaffiliated with the foundation. At the end of the day, Naomi has a lot to answer for. She's either a really bad judge of character, since every power figure she seems to get close to turns out to be the devil, or she's just playing her cards to build her empire. But what do you think? Do you think Naomi's on the Diddy list as well? And are they going to force her to testify as well? Let us know what you think in the comments section below, and make sure to check out other videos on our channel.